Nacho, Cowboy season over?
The Cowboy season, Marcellus, it is over, and this isn't one of those, oh my God, the sky is falling, one of these early on, week 1, week 2, or week 3 type of reactions. When I look at it, they're an undisciplined team, they're an unmotivated team, and to some degree, they're an untalented team. I say untalented because they're untalented at positions that really matter. Left tackle, defensive back, and quarterback. They're hamstrung because they have a ton of playmakers, but they don't have a quarterback to get the ball to all of these playmakers. So all of these playmakers are rendered useless on the outside. We talk about the Cowboys' talent, but the receivers can't pass the ball to themselves. So I say undisciplined, unmotivated, to a degree untalented. If you are either the worst or second worst team in the worst division in football, that does not bode well for your season. Before the game, head coach Mike McCarthy said, let's just win the division. Well, the Washington football team not only beat you, they embarrassed you. They took your manhood on national television, and we all were there to lie witness to it. The Cowboys season is indeed over. It's not hot take-ish, but it's your 2 wins. 2 wins versus 2 terrible teams, the Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. 2 wins in which by scoreboard and scoreboard alone did you win that game. It's not like you necessarily outperformed. It's not like you dominated. Now, can't take a win away from a football team. I know how hard it is to win a game in the NFL. It's hard to get one. Can't take it away from them, but I can qualify and quantify their performance in those 2 wins, the only 2 wins they have on the season. The Cowboy season is indeed over. Continue to play the games. Go out there and see what players will continue to fight, because I didn't see much fight from anybody yesterday. But yes, bro, the season for the Cowboys is done.
No, you know it's not done. That's why you didn't have the same emphasis, the same emphatic response.
No, I wanted to start a little calm. We have a 2-hour show. We got a 2-hour show. I don't want to run out of gas on y'all like the Cowboys have been running out of gas.
Oh, really? Oh, now he wants to wake up. During your whole soliloquy, I didn't hear the same acho.
Oh, man.
All right, so you want to come out calm. Well, I'm going to come out on fire.
Do that.
You know the season's not over. It's a relative experience in their division. Amazing we're looking at a team right now that is the Dallas Cowboys, who are sitting there only
they really
a half
the
a
Dallas
game out
Cowboys?
of first place. So when you say your season is over, you're not being literal, because we could still win this division. Don't we play the Philadelphia Eagles going forward a couple times? Yes, we do. So they can easily make up this distance. But let's talk about why there's a distance to make up in the first place. Dallas Cowboys, you said untalented. That's interesting, because this team was lauded as the most talented team, certainly in their division, maybe in the NFL for a second. However, like you said, the injuries have really taken its toll. And then you look at the situation in terms of discipline. I don't like that angle. And all these we're going to go deeper into. I don't like that angle, because when you look at a team, you say, are they disciplined or not? Typically, you look at their penalties, and you say, are they one of the most penalized teams in the league?
Yes, they are.
The Dallas Cowboys are tied for 5th. But let's look at the teams that are worse than the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, get your Google on, boy.
Oh, here we go. Worse. There's teams worse
this year. Most penalized team, Arizona Cardinals. Oh, they look kind of good. Did they just beat an undefeated team? Yes, they did. You know who else is in the top 5? Worse than the Dallas Cowboys? Buffalo Bills. They look pretty good. What about the Tampa Bay Bucks? Oh, so the correlation between discipline, penalties, and lack of coaching, I don't buy that, and I'm not buying it by the numbers this year. Let's look at this team as a team that is trying to figure itself out. One, there is no continuity in the coaching staff and what they have now at quarterback or is now offensively. Let's just be real about that.
That's fair.
2, there's no continuity on the front line in terms of the offensive line because of all the injuries. And 3, they've lost their greatest leader. Not just on the field, Dak Prescott, who led them to the #1 offense, the #1
the glue that held this ship together
before he was injured. Let's talk about the fact that there's a void in this locker room. Let's talk about there's a void on the field, intangibles.
There's a damn
that Dak
power
Prescott
vacuum.
made up for both sides of the football, not just offensively and not just at the quarterback position. You add all that up, how can the season be over? Because we're still in striking distance of first place, and we're still the Dallas Cowboys figuring it out on the fly. But I don't want to point at the coaches, because I've been on the field too many times where the outsiders were pointing at our coaches, and us on the inside were realizing it was the man in the mirror. Let me give you a little short synopsis of my playing career.
Marcellus.
I played for 6 different coaches. And when you talk about my coaches, I had a lot of losing seasons. I didn't play quarterback, so I didn't have that much impact on the team. If everybody was playing like I played, Super Bowl champions, right? Now, let me be serious about this. I had coaches by the name of Marv Levy, Marty Schottenheimer, Mike Riley, Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, and Jack Del Rio. Now, when people hear those names, they automatically start ranking who's the best coach, who's the worst coach. And I know who they're going to put up there at the top. Bill Parcells, Marty Schottenheimer, or Marv Levy. Of my 6 head coaches, 4 of them gave me L's, losing seasons. And you want to know those names? Marv Levy, Marty Schottenheimer, Mike Riley, Bill Parcells. You want to hear those seasons? 6-10, 6-10,
Damn.
5-11, 4-12. Those 4 big names gave us the losing seasons. You know who gave me my winning seasons? Wade Phillips and Jack Del Rio, 12-4. All right, Jack, 11-5, 10-6. Those are the other guys. Here's my point.
What's your point?
My point is this. You went to the board, did a good job of pointing out how players were not in the right situation in terms of their discipline, mindset, or maybe even in scheme. But I want to sit there and push back and say, it's not so much that you're being out-coached. You're being outperformed. It's not so much you're being out-coached. You're being out-executed. We get on here all the time.
Yep.
And if we mess up, when we mess up, we can't look at our producers because a lot of times we're giving the right opportunity and the right platform to do the right.
That sounds like a good spot to stop right there. Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, who's taking it kind of hard because the Dallas Cowboys are definitely hitting rock bottom, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up here, guys. Wake up. I don't know about you, but it was a rough day yesterday. You know, I spent half of the night up because I was cooking barbecue, man. You know, I went to bed at 12:30. I was up at 4 o'clock, you know, stoking the fire, up at 7 o'clock, getting everything ready, set up, because it was Washington Cowboys week, okay? You know, for me, this was the game. This was what I looked forward to. I have been at FedEx Field the last 5 years until yesterday, having tailgates, going to those games, watching the Dallas Cowboys win all but one of those games. And the one that they didn't win, there was controversy at the end that you could have looked at and said, you know, we had a chance. We had a chance. To have all of that, to have the dreams that we had for this season, when you looked at the guys, you said, we got Dak, we got Zeke, we got talented wide receivers, we got a really good offensive line. We added some firepower and things like that. Back to where we used to be. And there, it really, truly sank in yesterday that right now, everything is a mess. Trade Amari. So now see, you know, it's funny. What I want to know is, and I could probably say, let me make sure I take care of business here because we have all the ladies up in here. I know I saw Kathy. I know I saw Jessica. I know I saw Lola. I know I saw a Dak fan. I'm trying to think who else I saw up in here. Let's see if Eastside Shirley is going to come up and try and hit on Jessica. We know he loves himself some Jessica. Joe Gonzalez, what's up, man? Thank you, guys. I know Juan gave a super chat. I know Dak fan gave a super chat. And I know Juan gave one. I mean, Joe just gave one, too. Oh, and there's Lola. Lola, what's up, Lola? Oh, Emily Ann. Uh-oh. Shoot, all of a sudden, the ratio is getting better in here. We're getting more of the ladies showing up in here. I appreciate all the love that you guys have. Kathy Stearns. See, I know what y'all doing. I know what you ladies are doing. You ladies are going out. Come on over to Mark's channel and stuff so you can get a little bit of love up in here. Up there's Crystal May. What's up? Okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Gina Thorne, how you doing? All right. See, I know the guys are getting jealous. It's like, well, where's the love for us? Man, you know I got love for you guys, man. We sitting here talking about the Dallas Cowboys. But what I want to know is, as putrid as the Dallas Cowboys have been, and I mean they're putrid. Let's be clear here. What we saw yesterday was atrocious. It was disgusting. And I have to at least say thank you, Burgundy and Gold fan, for showing me mercy. Because literally, if you've seen Planet of the Apes, you know, when the ape is like, okay, you the boss. You the boss. I'm your bitch. That's what we were yesterday. We were the Washington football team's bitch. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. Let's just talk about for a second how bad this was. Mike J, what's up? 25-3. And it wasn't even that close. The 3 points were only because Tony Pollard had an incredible special teams play, great run back, best run back we'd had in years. And yet we could only get a field goal. For all those people out there that said, Dak stats, don't win games. I need a quarterback, a real quarterback. Andy Dalton is, he's a veteran. With these weapons, he gonna be the bomb. Up, always a lady. What's up? In case I missed you, got you. I'm still watching. See, I've got fish eyes. You got one that's over here. Boom. I got and the other one's over here. So I'm fish eyeing it right there. All right. So Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci. And Skins fan, your nickname for him ain't right. Your nickname for him ain't right, okay? Alan Williams, thank you very much. That's super chat, bro. Collectively, the QBR was a 7.6. We got outpassed 397. I'm sorry, total yards. Up, Howard Floyd. What's up, Howard? Thank you for being here, my man. Total yards, the Washington football team got 397 to our 142. The Washington football team averaged 82 yards rushing a game. They got 208 yards on the ground. We had Zeke Elliott, we got 83. Every play that the Washington football team ran, they got 6 yards. We got 2.6. Now, to our team's defense, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give them a pass. Our offensive line is terrible. And I'm not saying that to belittle the guys that are there, but these are guys that weren't ready to necessarily play. These are guys who, when you talk about being a rookie undrafted free agent, okay? Rookie drafted free agent. You didn't have any physical OTAs. You came in for 2 weeks of conditioning, 2 weeks of padded practices, which amounted to 14 practices. You weren't first team, which means you didn't get that many reps. If anything, you were like a practice squad player. You were doing scout team work. Now you are starting against the Washington football team's great young defensive line. You can't expect a whole lot from that. You can't. We've lost Pro Bowl players across, from Travis Frederick to Zach Martin to Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, who should have been a Pro Bowler last year. You really had no chance. And you could say, fire those guys, get rid of those guys. The reality is there's not players out there. This is all a symptom of the NFL going through and saying we're going to have a season without being able to put the work in. Now, I want you guys to look at something here. There was a play that spoke so much to me that once I saw it yesterday, I looked at it again today. It's the outlaw. I'm sorry. Mahomes wouldn't have done shit yesterday. Get this out of your mind that Mahomes could not have done anything with this team yesterday. Nothing. You couldn't. Well, here's what our team did.
Well, what happened was that second game, we got our ass kicked, or the second half. We just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. The second half, we sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second half. That's what it boiled down to. It was a horse performance in the second half. Horse. I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed.
Vicious style. Welcome to the channel, because I know I've never seen your ass up here before.
The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked.
If you actually watched my videos,
stunk.
Okay. I have actually said that. I said you can make excuses. I said people are out there who can't play. I said yet I see teams like the Eagles. I actually commented your sorry ass team about continuing to fight no matter how many injuries they have. Now, your own boy, Philly 500, made actually, maybe it was like a prophecy, but he made something very, very poignant. He's a dingbat. He says a lot of stupid things that usually are wrong, but he was dead on right about one thing. That one thing being that the Eagles have some stability because they had the same coaching staff and system there. So when they brought a guy from second string, he already knows what the system is because he's been studying it maybe a year or two. He's been played some. The Dallas Cowboys, we had 26 free agents. We had a major roster turnover. And I'm not making excuses because what I saw on the field, I'm going to get to this because some of this is coaching, some of this is a new system, some of this is the players that they brought in, some of this is I've checked the fuck out. Excuse my language again. I've given you guys props for keeping it together. Howard Floyd's. The Cowboys couldn't do diddly poo or diddly po. How about diddly po? Okay, we're going to get to that too in a second. They couldn't do diddly poo, which is the truth. We could not do diddly poo. But this play, to me, I can't point to the coaches completely on this. I can't point to the players. I recorded this off of the screen. I hope the NFL doesn't hit me on it. But this was the first drive where the Washington football team literally manned up and put a hat on a hat and beat us. So I've got it recorded in 3 different spots. This is real time. It's a reverse on us. And boom. Okay, so you can watch it there full speed. Now what I want to know, I play defensive line. I don't know if this is a gap defense or a read and react defense. But I know this much. What we were taught, and again, I'm not a pro football player. I don't know Mike Nolan's system and all that. But if you follow your offensive linemen, they're going to lead you to where the ball's going. You got to understand they're going to be doing all kinds of stuff in the backfield. But what you need to be concerned with is the guy in front of you. Okay? 9 times out of 10, if a guy is trying to hook you, okay, the ball is coming off of his ass somewhere. It's going that way. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? If the guy is trying to get around over here and wheel his butt on you, that means the ball is going out that way, unless they're doing some misdirection and a bootleg, and that does happen too. And so as I watch this, let's watch it some more. Okay. So this is slowed down. See the man in motion. Okay. You've got the guards over here pulling. Okay. The tight end is trying to hook Dorrance Armstrong. He's trying to get him to put him inside because Dorrance Armstrong's job is keeping the outside. Okay. And you've got the flow coming around this way. Okay. You've got the quarterback coming this way. So the linebackers are looking at the quarterback and where the ball's going, and they get sucked over there, right? Okay, so Dorrance Armstrong loses the outside contain. So now there's an alleyway. You got the guard that's coming around here, right? And then you got the lead blocker here. He gets the cornerback and actually gets him in the back, doesn't get called. But this is the part that gets crazy to me. Here's our safety. Coming into the screen, Xavier Woods. Can somebody explain to me what Xavier is doing? His back is to the carrier. He saw him, he turned, and he's running down the field. You're the safety. You're the safety. Your eyes are supposed to be towards the front of the field. Nothing's supposed to get behind you. So he's literally, it's like, what the heck is this? Okay. And so then I'm watching this, and then they show it one more time from a different angle. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. What you're going to see here is Dorrance Armstrong, and this is the other thing that hit me. Dorrance Armstrong, they're going to circle over here and show you where the flow's going. And the defensive line, it's going to start here in a second. Dorrance Armstrong is backing up. He's backing up and getting ready to absorb a blow. Carlos Fisher, thank you very much. He's literally, look at this. The tight end, instead of stepping up, feeling the pressure, he's just stepping back. My defensive lineman right here, he's getting up too high and not firing out. Right? You see how Dorrance is like, he gave him the edge. For the tight end, it's an easy block. He jumped into the gap away from me. So now, all you got to do is stand there. Look at this guy. He's up high. He's up high. Everybody is up high playing chess games. You can't be the high guy playing football. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Now, again, you've got the flow here, so that's why Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith got sucked in because they're thinking he still got the ball. I get that. The linebackers get forward. But as a defensive lineman, you go and fight the pressure to hold your ground. These guys aren't holding ground. Look at this. We're flat-footed. We're not, breaking down. We're not driving. We're just there. We're not ready to go. And then, okay, this is the thing that kills me is I'm looking at pursuit angles. Van Der Esch is kind of going flat across the line. You've got to get yourself at the angle at the point of attack. Everybody is kind of doing like a banana route to it. Look at where Dorrance Armstrong is headed towards like the 20. And watch Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods literally leaves the screen, and you're like, where is he? Where? Xavier, hey, Xavier, where are you? Xavier, dude, did you go on a water break? What the? Xavier, where the hell are you? Xavier. The fudge? Oh, he must have came back from his water break. That I'm just watching that, and okay. Even if you're in the wrong defense, the fundamentals aren't even there. You're literally. You've got this, okay, we did things like pursuit drills at JMU. Hated them because they have us all line up in our position, and we'd have to turn and sprint to the point of attack. And everybody had a different spot that they were supposed to go. Because I was a nose tackle, the fat guys, our point of attack was actually farthest downfield because they figure you're slow. You need the closest route to touchdown alley. You're going straight for the pylon over there, okay, all the way downfield. The linebackers, they get to just kind of go sideways. They got the short routes. Us fat guys, we had to run our ass real far. And we do about 10 or 15 of those in practice, so it was like just straight sprints. And I'm looking at the team and the safety, I know everybody says we should have signed, Earl Thomas, because I know Earl Thomas wouldn't have done this. I mean, literally, look at this. He's literally here, and then he's going to turn and go. I just don't understand. I'm trying to understand. So now we hear that the Cowboys are open to trading Dontari Poe, Emerson Griffin, and Daryl Worley. Weren't all those guys free agents? Wasn't that, nobody picked up, nobody had interest. Nobody had interest in Emerson Griffin when he was a free agent, right? He came here and he hasn't done anything really that you say, oh my God, we need that guy. What do you think you're going to get for a trade? Now, again, here's what, there's a couple things that there's more things going on. And it may be that the fact that the players are checked out. And this is going to be crazy sounding this, but I remember when I came back from tearing my ACL. This is back in the day where football was totally different. I tore my ACL the last scrimmage for my senior year in high school. They did a scope. They didn't repair my ACL. They just cleaned it out because the scope was new, okay? This was like groundbreaking that they didn't have to cut a big big scar on your knee and open it up. They literally just went in. They didn't have the technology yet to do like an ACL. So I missed the first 4 games this season. So understand, I played football. I played a football game less than 3 weeks after having knee surgery on my knee that removed my ACL. Okay? I know some of you are going to say you're bullshitting in line. I still to this day do not have an ACL on this knee. But when I got out there, you're scared. That first time that knee moves, you're kind of, you're protecting yourself. You're worried about doing stuff. And what happens is you get hurt. Did I actually put? No, I didn't. What? Are you crazy? Shane, seriously?
Are you stupid or something? Honestly,
Are you stupid or just plain dumb? People who break their shit because they're mad are just stupid. Why would I break my own shit? People do that shit because it's great to have on TV. You ever notice how when somebody goes through after a game and they're breaking their stuff, that somebody's always at the perfect location to film it and everything else? Because that shit is staged. They already had a new TV that they were going to get and they want to get rid of it. I hate Monk Otherwood. Thank you very much. I'm about the one. Wait a minute. Hey, Mark, I'm the one about the call. You got ready? Oh, what? Are you the guy who ended up texting me about the call? Well, I appreciate that because you got a shot glass coming. I appreciate that. Drew, how you doing? Thank you very much for the super chat. Bullshit story. Bullshit story? Oh, okay. You know what, Steven? No, don't. No, it's hard. I know it's hard to believe that. I know it's hard to believe. But if you actually go back, you'll see some of the I do actually have tapes of where I've gone in and gotten the chicken grease injections in my knee with my orthopedist, who actually shows you what my knee looks like right now. And he tells you, there's no ACL in this knee. That literally, I need you to make it till you're 60 on this knee before we do a knee joint replacement. Because I have literally bone on bone that's literally charged a groove in it. And the one thing that really drives me crazy is when a mother humper tells me I'm full of shit. That's true. Whatever. Don't believe it. But as I'm watching this, and I'm watching guys tackle, a lot of these guys are playing not to get hurt. Watch the game. You'll see one guy sees somebody's engaged with the tackler. They step back. They step back. You see the guys on the line. Like I said, Terrence Armstrong jumped back. I'm getting ready to get hit. I want to make sure I don't get hurt. And I'm wondering if this is like being shell-shocked. I haven't been in the military. Shout out to everybody who has been in the military. People that have gone to war, you know what? I'm a little biatch. I wouldn't want to have been out there. What you guys have done to help keep our country and protect us, I appreciate all that you've done. But what I'm told is guys get shell-shocked. You see some bad things that happen. And I see one of these jackasses who got my number is a private number because he's a little punk ass bitch who's not man enough to actually to put his number on here, is actually trying to call me. And of course they play Philly 500 stuff. So those who said, oh, well, you just, you deleted the stream. I'm not putting on there because I had people actually putting my phone number out there. And, if you want to believe what you want to believe, go right ahead. We're not going to deal with that situation and stuff. I'm not going to go ahead and fight a disagreement or have a disagreement on line here. That's not the way you handle business. So those of you that want to do that, and whoever this little punk ass bitch is that wants to continue to call me with a private number, go right ahead. Knock yourself dead. Okay. So I'm looking at some of these guys. They seem like they're shell-shocked. And I think when you look at the season, you think of seeing Dak Prescott, who's been a warrior. Dak Prescott's been a warrior. You see him snap his ankle, and you see his bones coming out. You see Van Der Esch break his collarbone. You see, pulled ham. I mean, what did Blake Jarwin get? Dalton Schultz. Blake Jarwin. I can't remember. you're seeing all these guys that are getting messed up. You see the list, Odell Beckham, gets his ACL, and you're just seeing guys left and right. And you're sitting there thinking that maybe this season just is not the right season to be out here. That guys, you know what? I need to try and see if I can stay healthy through the season. Philly 500 did by accident. Okay, he was calling me to go ahead and ride me because the Cowboys stunk so bad, and it went to voicemail because I was live streaming, and it said my number, in which case then some of these loser asses decided to call me and troll me and send stuff like, yeah, I'm glad that Dak Prescott messed up his ankle, and I mean just like really hateful stuff. So, it was kind of like one of those things. He didn't do it intentionally, so don't go over there and say you're an asshole, because I've actually done that by accident myself, okay? And immediately deleted the stream, called him up and said, hey, man, I'm sorry and all that. But Cowboy fans have a little bit more couth and class that they don't decide to go troll somebody else. And, like this asshole who's over here trying to screw up with me. But it is what it is. So I'm sitting there looking and wondering, are these guys looking and saying, Dak's gone, we got no faith in Andy Dalton. Now Andy Dalton's gone, we got Ben DiNucci. Offensive line's gone. Hey, right now, bro, it's about me making sure I get through the season in one piece, because it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing now. I mean, the season, and I mean, it's not over. We were 3-5 and really at the same position just 2 years ago. But we at least had Dak. We at least had Dak. So, the other question I have is, it's interesting that Dontari Poe, Emerson Griffin, Daryl Worley, we think about the locker room being divided. That's a couple of people have been talking to Jane Slater. We know Van Der Esch came out and said that, whoever these guys are gutless. We had Jalen Smith going through and talking about it too. We had Sean Lee. So you're looking at the guys that have been here, that have been true blue Dallas Cowboy fans, aren't, oh, Lord. Y'all's generation don't understand a lot of things. Back in the day, you get bitch slapped. You took a butt whipping when you did something wrong. I remember my mom. See, because here's how pointed it is. You do something wrong, your mom would say, go outside and get a switch. And you're probably like, a switch? Yeah, that means get a green piece of wood, so that way she can whip that ass with it. And you better not come back with a little flimsy thing or piece, or worse yet, a dead one that breaks when she hits you. Because then she going to go out and get one. And if she go out and get one, it's really going to be bad. And so when you've gone out there and you've gotten that switch and your mom has worn that ass out with it, every time you go past that tree, you remember that butt whipping. And when I just saw burgundy and gold right there, it was just like walking past that tree and remembering that ass whipping that I got for being bad. That's what that was, man, because, Washington spanked our Washington kicked our teeth in. They embarrassed us. They literally said, we ain't got no name. Damn it, we going to take yours too. Damn it, we going to take yours. And see, I can't even I can't say anything. We came out like a bunch of toothless dogs. We played soft. And at this point, DC 421, listen. It would help if Dak Prescott were back, but it would only help so much, y'all. Our defense is on pace. Wait a minute. You realize that everybody gets 20-plus points on us, or I should say 30 points. Fortunately, we held the Washington football team to 28. But for Washington, that's like double what they normally get. Trevor, what's interesting is everybody's, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence may not even be the best quarterback in college right now. His stock is actually not as good as everybody has. And here's let me say this much. Okay, let me try and quantify this. If we should be, at this point, it looks like we'll be a top 10 pick. Top 10 pick. Let's say, hypothetically, somehow the Jets win 2 games. Somehow we lose to the Giants team, we lose to the Washington team and everything else. We don't win another game. And somehow, some way, Atlanta ends up winning 2 more games. Yeah, I know you're loving it, Burgundy, and go, read between the lines, man. Read between you see this? Read between the lines. Okay? Read between the lines. If we were somehow in a position to get Trevor Lawrence, okay? And you brought him in here right now with this team, what do you think you're going to get? How good do you think you're going to be with all the other holes that we have on this team? Who on this team, besides wide receivers? This is what I ask you is, who on this team do you say we can't live without right now on defense? Seriously, on defense. Who do we look at and say we can't live without? Diggs is actually getting better. Diggs is, trial by fire. But in some of the numbers, though, Mike, might be skewed because we're on the field on defense a lot more than everybody else. Because, see, like Jalen Smith, you think about Jalen Smith leads the NFL in tackles. That's because the defense is on the field more than anybody else. But you see tackles where Jalen Smith is getting carried 2-3 yards down the field. This almost, see, this mother humper, I'm going to humor this motherfucker. Let's see. Let's see what Howard Floyd. You're on Joe Boo Sports Talk, but So I've been getting that all day from the same asshole. Ha ha. I had to see this, and I couldn't figure out. Howard Floyd, thank you very much for the money. Here's something for me. Through all the stuff that I've been going through the last day or so, somebody said that I was a spoiled brat or something like that. I'm going to tell you, I love how people make assumptions about you. My father is a mailman. And one thing that happened to me in my life that was actually, I regret to this day. My mother was a custodian my senior year of high school at my high school. And because I was embarrassed and ashamed about it, because, people have always made fun of jokes of black people's jobs, of, custodians and janitors and things like that. I literally ignored my mother because I was ashamed. But my parents never had a whole lot of money, but they worked hard. My mom worked at the school. She cleaned the banks after hours and stuff like that. She ironed clothes to make sure that we had what we needed. I've never been somebody who's had much. I have been broke, bankrupt, house foreclosed on. I've had a lot of bad things. I've almost died from flesh-eating bacteria. Had my wife leave me with 2 kids that were 5 and 3 years old. And instead of rolling over and dying, Alexander, shout out to you, man. Again, that was my ignorance, and I've apologized to my mother because she would see me, hi, Mark, hi, Bull, because that's she just always call me Bull, and I would ignore her, and that's something I regret to this day. Entitled, spoiled. You see everything that I have here, everything that I do, I bust my butt to get it. I don't assume that I'm going to get anything, but if I want something, I am going to go out there and I am going to work till I can't work anymore. I will die trying to achieve. Some people think they're just supposed to get things. All I got to do is say it. Well, I'm a Dallas Cowboy player, so automatically that means I'm good. We're supposed to win. We're supposed to have people talk great things about us. Because I remember when DeMarcus Lawrence got his contract. Remember that? Remember after him saying, I'm not going to get my shoulder worked on until we get this thing done. Because I deserve more money after having 2 good seasons. You remember that? He gets that contract, and this is what D-Law said. My goal is to be the best that's ever played this game. Lawrence said Saturday. This was July 2019, just a year and a half ago. For sure, I want to beat that sack record, make it my own, so we can talk about beating my record. I'm going to just wait until I get to the season. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to wait till I get to the season and then worry about sacks. We owe this brother $25 million next year on the cap. If we decide that, you know what, we don't need you, it's going to cost us $44 million of dead money to let him go. We've seen a couple of good plays here and there, but I don't know about you. Mike, have you seen the guy that's going to break the sack record? I mean, I ain't seen it.
Yeah, he had one against the Redskins, and I'm seeing Washington. I think had a second one.
That reminded me of Odell Beckham saying when he got to Cleveland that we're going to be the New England Patriots for years to come, and then didn't show up for practice in the offseason. Talk is cheap. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Go out there and do it and let me tell you what you did. Because I look at these guys out here on the field right now that aren't busting a grape, that aren't showing shit, that are literally being the worst defense in the history of football. Kathy, you laughing, aren't you? You laughing, Kathy. But I'm serious. He actually said, I am going to get the sack record. And I think since that time, he's got 7.5 sacks. 7.5 sacks. Jalen Smith, Jalen had a really good year. You thought, oh, my God, between Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch, I can understand Van Der Esch. I can give him a pass because he's got the injury history. He had injury history when we drafted him. Colin Kaepernick, Alonzo. You guys, here's the problem. Here's the problem. At this point, the die is cast for the season. Quarterback has to know everything and everybody that's going on the field. It doesn't matter right now. You can bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'd actually say right now Ryan Fitzpatrick would be a better bet because I know he's in shape. He's actually been doing some playing. Colin Kaepernick hasn't played for years. William Garza just learned that Jalen Smith was boxing match with Jerry in the offseason. That's why Dak didn't get paid. He ain't one of Jerry's son. He's his own man. Okay. I don't understand that boxing. Okay, but if you say so. But since that one good season, everybody shows up with their sunglasses on. They got their Beats headphones on, the slick suits and everything. They're businessmen and everything else and all that. And it's kind of like, yeah, you're businessman, but what about the play on the field? Because it seems like y'all aren't quite the same guys that are hungry anymore. Burgundy Gold, I don't know if you're still here or not. I have to give you mad mad respect for one of your historic players and Doc Walker, tight end and one of the Hogs back in the days when the Washington football team used to win Super Bowls. I like him because he doesn't hold any punches. He says it like it is. And it was funny because this week he was saying, if we lose to the to the Cowboys, it's a disgrace because they're a dumpster fire. They've lost the locker room. They are out of it. And that says more about how bad we are if we lose to them. And, of course, us being Cowboy fans, nah, man, we're the Dallas Cowboys. We're better than everybody else, and that's horse shit. But Doc Walker always says this. He says a couple things that are really good. He says, I can lose without you. You didn't bust a grape. I look at this whole defense. How much worse can it get? Seriously. And it's hard to be hungry when your refrigerator's full. And we're looking at guys whose refrigerators got real full that aren't doing very much on the field anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at D-Law, who originally said, I might sit out the season. My wife's pregnant. I might sit out the season. And we go through and say, you know what, we're going to restructure your contract, in which case you elongate the pain. So you're looking at that, the money that's going there. You look at Tyrone Crawford. I like Tyrone Crawford, but Tyrone Crawford is almost $10 million. Hawk, you stupid. Hawk, you're an Eagle fan. You my boy, but don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Seriously, don't be stupid.
Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid?
Man, real truth, we need to rebuild this team and a lot of players. Howard Floyd, Dak can take a deal that is structured like Mahomes' deal. Maybe not for so much money, but it would probably be for free. Yeah, you know what, Howard? And there's a point to that. There's a lot of point to that. But the question you have to say is, if you're Dak Prescott, I'm just thinking hypothetically, this isn't Dak Prescott. But see, you could actually be kind of petty and say, it's kind of funny that they want me to do a discount because we spent a whole lot of money for Zeke, who's kind of, you remember when everybody said that Zeke Elliott is carrying Dak Prescott in the Dallas Cowboys? You remember that, right? You guys remember that, right? Remember that? That Dak Prescott would be nothing without Zeke. You remember when they used to say that, you know what? With the weapons we got on the Cowboys, anybody can step in there and do what Dak's doing, man. You got great wide receivers. How many catches did CD and Michael Gallup get yesterday? What? It was 0? It was 0 catches for those great weapons? Oh, because, anybody can step in. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah. You can say that if you want there, my man, that Zeke carried the team for years. But technically, games without Zeke, I think Dak Prescott is 5-3. I think games without Dak Prescott, well, not real good. I don't think we have a victory without Dak Prescott. William Garza, Dak keeps Jerry's at arm's distance. He doesn't want to be one of those guys. But anyway, but back to my thing. If you're Dak Prescott and you say, my first year I only made, $700,000. My second year I only got $700,000. My third year I got $300,000. No, $700,000. My fourth year I got $2 million. So I got $5 million for 4 years, taking all the shit that I got. Let me see. Zeke Elliott, he's got 15 and 15. D-Law, he got a $100 million contract. Amari Cooper, he got a $100 million contract. Lyle Collins is actually making like $12 million. Tyron Smith had a $99 million. Why should I take less money when you paid all these guys that really didn't do a whole lot? I broke my ankle out there trying to will this team to win, trying to get those extra yards so that way we stay in these games. Why should I take a discount? I'm amazed at all these people who don't see that the reason why we got out of cap hell from Des Bryant and Tony Romo's contract was because we didn't pay Dak crap before, that somehow think that, oh, he needs to take a deal. When somebody like Kirk Cousins got a 2-year extension going into this year for $66 million guaranteed. Kirk Cousins has got 2 more years on his deal, fully guaranteed, for $66 million after this year. Do you understand that one? Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins. So if we were in a position to draft Trevor Lawrence, or I forgot the other guy's name, do you think they'll be better than Dak Prescott? Or at least as good as Dak Prescott? That's my question, honestly. Can you expect a guy from college that'll come out and that can you guarantee that he'll be at least as good as Dak Prescott? Can you guarantee that? Because I've seen guys like Josh Rosen where they said he's the best guy in the draft, who after one season they said thanks but no thanks, dude. I think he's I think he's the practice squad for somebody right now. I think on Jacksonville. I think he's on the practice squad for Jacksonville, the number 1 pick in the draft. And instead of, if you were in a position to get Trevor Lawrence, what I would say is, why don't you let somebody trade up and get some more picks and try and fill in as many of these holes as you can? Because the one position you got to look at and say, okay, here's the strengths of our team. Wide receiver, quarterback, if he comes back healthy. Okay, I got that much. I need some line to keep the quarterback upright. How about that? I need a safety who's not lead blocking for the opposition. How about that? How about I need some dogs on the defensive lines that shock the offensive linemen and can hold the damn ground? How about some defensive ends that can sack the quarterback? Because I think those positions are going to help you a lot more than if you got Trevor Lawrence and put him out there with no damn offensive line. You've seen what happened to Andy Dalton without an offensive line. Will Mcclay we trust? Well, we're going to have to. Now, if there's any good news for the Dallas Cowboys is we got 4 compensatory picks. 4. I'll take CD any day. We got 4 compensatory picks, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th. Add that to our other 7, that's 11 picks. I think we have 11. It's 10 or 11. I don't know if we traded one of those or not, if we lose one of them, but I think it's 10 or 11 picks. But regardless, you're going to have to rebuild this team. Tyron Smith, you still keep him because his contract is to the point where cutting him costs you $8 million. Keeping him only costs another $3 million. If you can get half of the season out of him, okay. But you're drafting the guy that's going to replace him. You got to. You look at Badass and say, okay, I got a center there. Now, there may be a little bit of hope. You know, we've got Looney maybe coming back in about a week or 2. And maybe you play him at guard and you keep Badass at center. That'll help you some. Sean Lee might help some on the defense. But at this point, and with the Eagles coming up this week, as Michael Anthony said, Philly, enjoy the belt. Aloha, Dennis in Hawaii. Man, I envy you, man. That's where I'd like to be. I definitely want to get away. $1,000. Everybody in the division is 2 wins or less. Too early to give up. It is too early to give up. You know, again, we were 3-5 and won the division before. Hell, 5 games may win the division. But with Dianucci is wet behind the ears, man. He came in, made a nice play to start out with. He can move, but interesting point, somebody sent me an email, and I kind of questioned this myself, but I didn't think about Cam Newton as well. We know that we know that Zeke had COVID. Zeke doesn't quite seem to be the same. Now, we know he had it to the point where he admitted that he had the flu and stuff. And for some people, I don't know if I had it or not, but I know that I had something after I came back from the Super Bowl. I had these chest pains that felt like somebody was sitting on it, and I had a hard time breathing for a while. I didn't have like flu-like symptoms with I felt like my brain was itching and I had this headache, but I didn't have cold and flu and fever and all that. But I've had these chest pains and heart palpitations. My heart just kept, racing like crazy and blood pressure was high. I don't know if that was COVID or whatever it was. But do we know that Zeke didn't have broccoli, 7-Eleven, dude? I owe the Cowboy fans, man, get out of here, dude, for jinxing the season. First of all, I've only had him since 2013. Okay? Explain to me all those years before me, because this team has been crap for a long time. I'm glad that you think that I have that much power, that I literally have the power of the football gods to say, you know what, Mark Holmes said something about the Dallas Cowboys, so let's go ahead and screw their season. Zzz. Come on, man.
Enough is enough. I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some fucking windows.
All right, so the other thing, let me say, I want you guys to listen to this a little bit, because I still think that one of those guys that they're trying to trade right now, it may be one of those guys that was doing some talking. I think that that's the case. And I think what we're seeing is the Jones family is siding with Mike McCarthy. And you listen to Mike McCarthy here, it sounds like the season is about evaluating and getting the right guys on the field.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Let's just listen to this for a little bit and see.
Understanding that you and your staff will focus on this all the time, when you hit a stretch like this, are you really more concerned about the attitude at this stage or the execution?
Oh, well, we need both. So, but as far as, what's the priority, I think the, attitude, style of play is what, is the primary focus. So, because when your style of play is correct, the execution will benefit the most from that, as opposed to execution without the proper style of play. So I would say attitude and style of play is our primary focus.
And what ways do you go about getting that? Because obviously there are some principles that you just reinforce regardless of what's going on, but when the message isn't being received or not being carried out, do you look to do things differently, or are there some things you won't do differently? How do you approach that whole aspect of it?
Well, I think you have to have evaluation filter in place, which I do, and I think the fact that you go through your evaluation process, it starts on the plane ride home last night, and throughout the morning, and you take it to the players. But as you go through that, as we're getting ready for Philadelphia, bring in
Lordy.
the things that we know we need to work on. Is there something in Wednesday's practice can you change? Thursdays, the meetings today, what's accomplished. So at the end of the day, we got to keep emphasizing, the way we need to play, the things we need to do better. No one feels worse than the football team. We understand the disappointment outside of the building. It's clearly,
Wait. Nobody feels worse than the football team? I think the Washington football team is feeling pretty good right now. I know. Okay, he wasn't talking. I know he wasn't talking about the Washington football team, but I just had to throw that in there.
we're worthy of the criticism. So, frankly, we got to make sure that we stay on point, stay on target, and just not react and try to change up a bunch of things just to change. That's not my nature. I'm a big believer in the process, and that's going to be the approach.
Can you give us an update on Dalton's status and how he's feeling today?
Andy Dalton's in the concussion protocol, and as far as every stage and so forth, I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but he was here today, saw the trainers and so forth, so he was not in the meetings.
You talked last night about the team didn't have the expected response after the 30 years from Boston. Did you talk to them about that? And also, how do you feel about the NFL deciding not to suspend Boston, just give them a fine?
As far as the NFL, I'm not up to date on that, and that's obviously out of my thought process. So as far as what went on with Andy's hit, I think obviously the officiating took care of what happened and so forth, but the response from the offensive line, I think our guys did exactly, at the starting point was, cover the football. They were all five of them were right there when Andy went down. But I think this whole thing, as far as how it's viewed, is a little bit of a microcosm of just kind of where we are. So you got young players in new situations. So, but that's really all I got to say about that.
You kind of changed your tune a little bit there.
Talk about how one reason he believes in you is because you don't just have experience with success, but also adversity. How do you use that here, and how do you feel like you've used it in the season so far?
I totally apologize. I didn't catch the first part. The adversity.
Jerry Jones has consistently said that the reason he believes in you is because you don't just have experience with success, you also have experience with adversity.
Okay.
How do you feel like you've used that experience this season, and how do you use it where your team is at right now?
Here we go. This is the
well, we've had plenty of adversity. I mean,
you got that shit right.
Clearly, we're not playing to the level that we need to compete and to win games. So. When I look back at my past experiences, this season, there's segments of this season that remind me of my first year in Green Bay, 2006.
This was horrendous.
We were 1-4. Then there was a stretch of 3 games that we didn't play very well at all, and was beaten thoroughly by the Patriots, and lost a tough one, I think, up at Seattle, and then beaten again at home by the Jets, and we were 4-8. So and then went on to win some really, really good games at the end and finish 8-8, and it was something we were able to carry into the off season. So, I have experience of been through the ups and downs, and those are these are the times you look back to those moments, and it kind of it's a check and balance for you, and so I have great belief in the way and approach of what we're doing, and I think just the fact that we're a football team that's still working on the connection of how we do things, and the practice format, and ultimately playing in the game. So we're clearly not where we need to be, clearly not where we want to be, but that's kind of the state of the football team.
And Randy Gregory only played 6 snaps, I believe, in the game yesterday.
Plays.
Was that the plan going in, and what do you expect from him this week in Philadelphia in terms of ability to use him?
Rep counts are something that's worked on throughout the week. So we'll see how the week preparation goes. So it was great to get Randy out there and get him involved.
Mike, how do you build? What comes first, the confidence or playing well?
Confidence
and
or playing
how do you build your players' confidence to play well when they're going through stuff like this?
I think they're.
Well, I think ultimately we're chasing real confidence. False confidence only lasts so long. So to answer your question, I would say playing well is what really establishes the real confidence. I mean, there have been experiences that I've been a part of where you may not play very well at all, and you're winning games and.
All right, we got enough of that. But shout out to Kathy and Kathy. Oh, what a night. Further into the interview with him, he starts talking about evaluating players and things, and it starts to sound like we're working towards next season, and it may be that he realizes it. And what I think is happening is that Jerry Jones is basically saying, you know what, I can't get rid of him right now, and you have to start wondering because we're getting worse results with mostly the same players that we had before. At some point, you got to look and say, I can't keep changing coaches. Is it the players of the problem? Or is it the system that I'm doing with this? Or were we right to re-sign re-sign Zeke, re-sign D-Law, and spend all this money on here? As you look at a lot of teams that have gone through and spent a lot of money, Howard Floyd, thank you very much for that super chat. You wonder, as you see a lot of teams that spend a whole lot of money for a couple of guys, it ends up being that a lot of times it doesn't necessarily pay off. And the Cowboys have a history of paying these really big contracts, and you can't honestly look back at any of them and say, oh, yeah, we got money for that one. You can look at Miles Austin, Jay Ratcliffe, Marion Barber, TaMarcus Ware. You can look at Des Bryant now, D-Law, Zeke Elliott. And somehow teams that don't spend that money like that, you can look at, give you an example, Washington football team is forever spending a whole lot of money on free agent guys out there. Landon Collins, Josh Norman, they had the Albert Haynesworth. And, as bad as it's been for us the last 25 years, it's been even worse for the Washington franchise. The only way you win is you build a team through the draft. You get young guys that are hungry, and because of the way the system is set up, you got minimum of 4 years, depending on where they're drafted, or 5 years, because those guys are going to play. Jay Ratcliffe's another one. Oh, the Rat. Those guys are going to be playing lights out for those first 4 or 5 years to try and get that big contract. And that's when you've got to get them out on the field, get them coached up. And when they go someplace else, you get that compensatory pick in return. And you keep reloading. This stuff of saying, well, we can't live without this player, not realizing that guys are getting older. And as they get older, they start breaking down. And because you spend so much money on all of your offensive linemen, when they get hurt, the guys that are replacing them aren't real good players. And this is the fault of the Cowboys. They got out of cap hell. We got some guys that played real well. We were like, hey, man, he's a Pro Bowl. We can't live without that guy. But yet forever we've seen, New England trade Pro Bowl players or, let them go elsewhere and still seem to find other guys that replace them through the draft and just get a piece here and a piece there to complement whatever else they had. You can look at all of this stuff. The guys that we brought in that were players that played well before, none of them have really helped our team other than Aldon Smith. And Aldon Smith is hungry because if I can get 13 sacks, I'm going to get some more money. I'm going to get a fat contract. I'm back in the league. I got something to really play for. And he's one of the few ones out there on the defense that you can look and say, yeah, that guy's playing. But to have guys out there like Xavier Woods saying nobody plays on every down, gives 100%, and you see the performance on the field, that's when you start looking at it and saying, what are you talking about? It shows on the field. So I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if this guys will dig deep and, we get a few guys back, but it feels like the heart and the soul of this team has been literally been ripped out. Oh, Harold. Yeah, Harold, I don't know if you were the one that sent me the email on it. But the question, I wonder if COVID, if that's actually some of the responses that he's having, it seems like he's a little slower. He seems like he's got a little problem with gripping the football. You see him actually where he used to knock guys out. You're seeing him get pushed back. If he's got problems from COVID. You look at Cam Newton, who just came back from actually tested positive. We don't know if he had full-blown COVID or not, if he's got any lingering effects. But, you have to wonder as we go through society, shout out to DT, because DT's nephew is gotten out of the hospital. He's on oxygen, but he went to school in August. 2 weeks later, he's in the hospital in induced coma, fighting for his life, and now has all kinds of ailments from it and just got released from the hospital. Here it is, late October. William Garza, thank you very much. When does the hot seat start for Will Mcclay? His armor is starting to get dinged. I don't know that. That's a good question, but I'm not sure if it's ready to get pointed at Will Mcclay on the players. You can evaluate talent, and you could look at what Will Mcclay has done versus, say, the New York Giants, who had, 3 years top 5 draft picks. And you can look and say, he did pretty good at finding CeeDee Lamb. I think he did pretty good. And I also say he actually did really good at getting Diggs. You can look at those two players as two of the best players on our team that were just picked up this year. The jury's out, of course, on Ben DiNucci and Gillimore and things like that. They're still right. But I'm saying you did pretty good with your first 2 picks. I will say that you may have. Well, if Dak was still here, you would have probably had the Rookie of the Year. But right now, I don't know if CD's going to get very many catches the rest of the year. Do I think Ben DiNucci will do okay or what? With this offensive line, unless the offensive line solidifies and Zeke Elliott starts running a little bit better, it's going to be tough for the offense to do anything. We've scored 10 points the last 2 weeks. 10 points. Jeff Bones and Pokey, I hope y'all was able to patch things up. Well, we'll see how that goes. I think the best thing on that situation is time heals all wounds. How about that one? And sometimes you need, and that's why I'm not trying to discuss business on here. This is one of those things where calmer heads have to prevail. Who are the most promising defensive rookies on the Cowboys? Right now, the only one you look at and honestly say is promising would be Diggs. Diggs he's trial by fire. He's learning really quick. I really like him. We'll see what Gallimore does. He needs a whole lot of work and stuff on there as well. Rookie-wise, that's really about it. Yeah, you're Jessica. Shout out to you, Jessica. You know more about football than most of the guys that are in here, because you can't just say fire this guy, trade that guy. Because again, we're trying to trade Dontari Poe, Emerson Griffin, and Darryl Worley. Does anybody believe that anybody's going to give us anything for him? What's going to happen is, you wait it out and see if they cut him. If you would be lucky to get a 7th round draft pick for any of them. We have players that don't have the mentality to deal with media. We're getting crushed both on and off the field. Such a sad, soft team. Calmer heads will prevail. 40% of paywall hurt. Only players getting fired is Mike Nolan's. Oh, my God. Oh, did you hear this one? You can't make this shit up. Mike Nolan's doing his press conference today, and he had to stop because he had hot sauce on his finger, and he rubbed his eye, and it started burning. I think he put that hot sauce on his finger just in case it got too hot in there. Okay, here's my quick out. Oh, I got hot sauce in my eye. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. Seriously, you can't make this up. I ain't never heard a press conference stop because a guy got hot sauce in his eye. Hot sauce in the eye. Can you? Maybe that's foreshadowing. His eye got fired. Okay, his eye got fired. He got hot sauce. Okay. Mark, what do you think about it when Jimmy was head coach and he ran the team and Jerry's handled the business side? Jerry is Steve and everything. Well, you know what, Kathy? Actually, wow. Let's think about it this way. Okay, hold on. Jimmy Johnson's first year was 1-15. No, it wasn't the next year, but in the next year I think it was 8-8. But seriously, Jimmy Johnson was 1-15 his first year. What if we said he's one and done? Get him out of here. He's a bum. This sucks. He's no Tom Landry. You do know that Zach Martin is not playing right now, right, David? You know he was out this week. He's in concussion protocol. So moving him to right tackle doesn't help us any because he may still be out this week. Jeff Kavanaugh's been on it for a month. Cowboys getting a 7 for Griffin from Seattle. Okay, well that's okay. So we got a 7th. Yay! If nothing else, at least we get rid of his contract. Trade DeMarcus Lawrence, get a 4th-round pick, and be happy you got Joshua. I don't know that somebody's going to get for his contract. Why would you take him on and give up a 4th-round pick and take on that contract? That's a lot of money. I do not play Madden. I don't have time to. Will the Cowboys beat the Eagles, run the table, and go 11? Wow. Thoughts on Dave Campo? Dave Campo's looking a lot better right now. 5-11, 5-11, and 5-11. Mr. Mark, they need to mix it up on the line. I think they need to mix it up and send a message to guys to try and get their attention. Aaron Wilkowski, thank you for the super chat. Hello, Mark. Hope you're well considering. Well, you know what? You want to cry when you see your team play like this, and you want to feel. I mean, the way 2020 has been awful to all of us, and you'd hope for having some semblance of normalcy and being able to root and cheer for your team to do well, but unfortunately, doesn't seem like this is going to be the year. I'm a hockey fan. Sorry, Mark Holmes. Okay, we need a fullback big time. Run the table. Would you trade Cooper or Zeke? I don't think you're going to be able to trade either of them with their contract. I think that if people are going to look at this contract, it's just too much. Unless you're going to eat some of the contract. Yeah, I think the Joneses are going to give Mike McCarthy. Maybe not Mike Nolan. He might be the bloodletting for the fan base. But Mike McCarthy will be still here. No one, David Bately Jr. No one person can save us. You're right about that. Wow, Foles looks bad. You're tripping on these trade guys, yeah. Manster, can we go GoFundMe page and buy the Cowboys? They should be discounted by now. Now here's we're in overtime here, but I need to get out of here. But here's the thing I kind of wonder. Are you honestly telling me that Clinton Dix and Brandon Carr are worse than the guys that we have out there now? Are you really telling me that? I'm really trying to understand that because I see no life out there. Need to get then just an offensive tackle right. It's Jarrah. No one wants D-Law. We're married to Zeke and D-Law. Tyron Smith. Well, Crawford will be gone. Crawford's contract ends this year. Jalen Smith. Derek, that was the other thing I was sitting here thinking about too today was we're getting to be like the Raiders as Al Davis started getting old, and it was just kind of like, just win, baby, and literally ran the team in the ground. Well, all right, y'all. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I appreciate all the love and all the support and everything else. At least we've kind of hit rock bottom. Well, no. Actually, let me say that again. We play the stinking Eagles this week. Yeah. Grab your shot glasses because we're going to need them this week. always, thank all of you guys for being here. Keep spreading the mojo, keep having the faith, and keep being safe out there. Whew. I'll see you next time.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.